Hello there. Today on Skullman Speaks, I'll be covering Sonic, considering the launch of the game is coming soon to the public, which I'm very much excited for, but had you asked me a couple of years ago, I'd not have batted an eye. The reason being would be that prior, I had only had vague ideas of what Sonic as a franchise was, but when I leaned into it more, I found myself mesmerised with what I came across as it was simply astounding. Unbeknownst to me, this was more than just a circle of poorly made games or dumbing down characters over time, but something more entirely that I had been ignorant to since I had grown up exclusively on Nintendo games. From Pokémon to the Mii games to the Golden Boy Mario himself. There was barely a hint of the blue blur until I was given my first games. Not knowing any better as a child, I pointed to the Sonic Unleashed game and wrote that down for my Christmas list since it looked cool as hell on the surface. When the time came, I also received Sonic Rush plus Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but we don't talk about that one really. Unleashed turned out to be right up my alley, with easy combat and cool new abilities outside of going fast for Sonic's werehog form, though the game ultimately got the boot after some failed button input via a faulty Wii remote. In any case, I had Sonic Rush to follow up with until it became the new platform I'd spend days playing because of how much fresh air it was in the comparison to the usual Mario formula. The bosses felt nice to brawl against when taking into consideration the use of 3D when compared to the Super Mario Bros. Games, which left plenty to be desired. But when I grew tired of it, there were only so many times I could go back to play the levels as I liked before moving on and kind of distancing myself, after getting to grips with the internet culture where Sonic was played for a joke, not helped by Sonic.exe, may I add. It would take a long time for me to get into the series fully, but bits and pieces started to arise to make me question my former disliking for a blue hedgehog as a Sonic Boom TV series came around alongside people playing older Sonic games again. More so to left with the questionable graphics, but nonetheless played it through to completion. Whether it was Tear of Grace or Snapcube, it was a bag of laughs to the point I kept digging and found analysis videos of the characters or how the games could certainly use some sort of overhaul to be like how they used to, but with a bit more polish. So we had the story with a quality game to match. But do you know what was at the centre of it all? Dr. Eggman. This scientist man easily carried my interest through every game, no matter what, whether from the line delivery or the giant mechanical death eggs, he could do it all. With the age of such talented voices, including Alfred, it would exemplify why he is such a dastardly evildoer, but also, more than that, as he shows his regard for Sonic, after he supposedly perished in one of those encounters. That being said, there is one interpretation that I haven't quite seen yet. The Sonic movies were revealed to a hum of hatred as people immediately began pinning this as another loss on behalf of video game movies due to Ugly Sonic, as he is now dubbed. Of course we got an upgrade to his original design so that the big screen version held some more similarities, leading to a success with sales and fans alike after getting the right version. Personally, I have still to watch it despite the 2 DVDs sitting on my shelf, so the things seen by myself are just trailers or short clips, which has given me enough reason to watch it fully at some point at least. Especially with how they take Dr. Eggman from his own original design for the movie world, only to be shoved into another universe and ends up becoming the crazy robotics genius we know today in the games. Such a direction seems rather fitting, as it helped introduce Knuckles into the real world after also giving a worthy counterpart. I'm sure they end up becoming buddy-buddy like in the games, but like I said, I haven't seen the movie yet, considering my schedule of crying on Twitter, doing art, playing games, and trying to find a new job. If my waffling has taught you anything, then it is that you should delve into Sonic-based media if you've been putting it off for the longest time now, as you're likely to be surprised with what comes out of it. This rings true if you've been sticking with Nintendo for the longest time, like I had for so many years before. There is a lot to explore, from the comics to the animated works, to the fan content that fell out of every side of the community with the right inspiration. It isn't possible for me to sum up everything as I'd like in just one of these videos, so be sure to do your own research into all of this when you're digging into outlets known to yourself. Just be sure to not make any assumptions based on what you first find, as there is no knowing where you might end up if you follow that path. This has been Skullman Speaks, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully.